welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news, folks. It's our job to give you some interesting bits in the world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in the past week of news headlines and random topics that we come up with. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we have some things to share with you every week here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. So join us for the ride. But first, let's recap the week that was. Mikey, my friend, what are you doing? What were you up to this past week?
It was
Easter.
That was Easter, so
the big
it was
thing.
Just eating nonstop. I don't know if it's the same for you, but for my family, Easter is kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Being Italian.
Yep.
So I think I mentioned this last week. It's like the week leading up to Easter, and then the week of Easter, it's just constant different types of food, whether it's the meat pies, the baking of all the pastries, and you get the ricotta pie and all the dunking cookies and everything. So it's been just a nonstop orgy of food.
Yes.
But I'm there for it, man.
Right. You gotta be you gotta be down to eat.
Oh yeah. And I mean, we always have like a huge big dinner. We had these little lasagna roll-ups that my family makes. We had lamb and potatoes. We had some chicken. We had fried mushrooms. We had, just the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So it was good. It's good stuff. So
Yep.
I was mostly eating this weekend.
Yep. Same here. Yeah, we had the
Yeah.
Easter ham and pineapple stuffing and
Oh
yeah. So
you take more of like an American slant on Easter then, or do you still have the pasta?
Well, that's like the main course.
Okay.
We also do the Italian wedding soup, which my mom does from scratch.
Oh, so good.
Which is crazy. I still can't believe she takes like the Saturday and just cooks nothing but the Italian wedding soup.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah. I mean, that warms your soul.
It really does.
Yeah. And then, we do our own rice pie and meat pies and
we were talking about this because
Yeah.
we just had some rice pie earlier, and my family, the region of Italy that we're from, we don't do the rice pie, but it seems like everybody around us does. And I'm like, why can't we do it? And my mom goes, that's not our tradition.
Thing.
I'm like, yeah,
you
but
can't do
it tastes good.
No, you're gonna get ricotta and you're gonna like it.
Apparently, yeah.
That's all you get.
So I have to depend on the pity of others to get my rice pie fixed. No. But no, the rice pie is good.
Yeah. So I mean that was its own thing with Easter. It was nice to see family. It was nice for me. I actually had Friday off. That was a rare thing.
Yeah,
I've never really done Friday off for Easter.
I've never had the Friday before Easter off.
Yeah.
So I'm a little jealous there.
Yeah.
It was a slow day though, so like I worked, but
Right. Yeah. You goof off.
Yeah. It's one of those days.
Come on. Yeah. It's Friday afternoon.
Like, come on. Like if the emails aren't rolling in, then I'm not.
Yeah.
That's
probably why they gave us Friday off. They're just like, your work's not going to get done anyway. You might as well.
But there's certain industries and certain times of years where people just collectively decide they're not going to work.
Yeah.
Like for me in my industry, it's around the end of the year holidays. Like between like Christmas and New Year's, everybody just collectively takes off.
Yeah, just
it's fantastic.
Put it in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Put it in there for the records. Easter was this past weekend. Also was the Masters, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But before we do that, we have to officially first launch into the sports sampler. So let's do that and knock it off the checklist of the show.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Yep, sports coming at you in your face. And we got to at least help Mike scratch his football itch. So we're going to do a little bit of football updates. And the big thing is that still nothing from Aaron Rodgers. So he's still in the dark.
I'm in the dark here.
I'm going to keep playing the sound clip until the Aaron Rodgers trade either happens or we get definitive news bulletins that it's not happening. So week 4, I think we're on this.
I'm in the dark here.
Because I think it's been a month now. Aaron Rodgers came out of the darkness retreat, said to Pat McAfee, I'm playing for the Jets, and then
nothing.
Nothing. We have not heard any official trade that has happened. As of right now, he's still on the Packers roster.
Yeah, and as time goes on and we get closer to the draft, I really do wonder what the major holdup is, because after the draft, the compensation changes for both sides.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they have to get a deal done before then. Otherwise, the Packers are just shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, because then you're going to get a future draft pick, and you're not going to know where it's going to be at in the future.
Right, exactly. So I don't know what the holdup is. I mean, I'm assuming the Packers are pushing for more, but the Jets know they have the upper hand because Rodgers doesn't want to play with the Packers. The Packers have a huge cap hit to swallow if they keep Rodgers. So the Jets are just sitting back. They're like, well, we're just going to wait it out.
Yeah, let you stay in the dark.
I'm in the dark here.
Yep, that's the theme of this year for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. But there's also been like no new updates, but sort of kind of maybe an update about another quarterback that has an issue with his team.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson on his own, we don't have an update on, but the Ravens have made a slight chess move here to try and lure him back to the table, and that is by signing well-known wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. to a 1-year, $15 million deal to try and show that they are serious about providing weapons for Lamar Jackson in this upcoming year. And this is a $15 million guaranteed. That $15 million is guaranteed.
Yeah, and I think I saw somewhere it could go up to 18 based on incentives and
Correct.
escalators and stuff. Yeah, no,
That's a lot of money for...
That's a lot of money.
How old is he? 30?
He is... I can get that for you right now. He is...
I think he's in that ballpark.
Yeah. He is currently 30 years old. He's going to be turning 31 partway through the season.
Yeah, and he didn't play at all last year.
Didn't play at all. And before that, he was injured a bit.
Yep, ACL tear.
He hasn't had a good... I shouldn't even say good, a decent season since 2019, where he had literally just over 1,000 yards. He had 1,035 yards.
The last time I remember him being dominant was the playoff run for the Rams. He really was shining. But then again, the problem was he was I'm going to get he was the number 2 wide receiver. He wasn't the number 1.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp was the number 1.
Right. Exactly.
So
the last time he was a difference maker, like an actual difference maker, his last Pro Bowl season, because they keep saying, all the articles, they brought in Pro Bowl receiver Odell Beckham Jr. What do you think the statute of limitations on a Pro Bowl appearance is?
Yeah, what is his?
2016.
Wow. Yeah.
Are you going to sit here and tell me Pro Bowl wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., last time he even sniffed the game was 7 years ago?
Well, wasn't 7 years ago, but like... So I think that's where Odell Beckham sits. He's a really great number 2 wide receiver, but he's not your number 1.
No,
and,
he hasn't been.
And that's why I think this is a desperation move by the Ravens. This reeks of desperation. I don't think this is going to work out, honestly, for the Ravens, especially if they're relying on him to be the dominant number 1 that he was with the Giants. He's not.
No. He's
just now like a really great number 2.
Right.
And on the Ravens squad, they don't have any other wide receivers.
Right.
So
he's just going to get all blanketed by opposing defense's number 1 corner. And, I mean, here's the other thing.
And this is also assuming Lamar Jackson actually comes back to the table and, tries to actually make this work.
Right. And, I'm just so.
Everybody is saying they overpaid, and I agree.
For Odell Beckham Jr., absolutely.
At most, Odell is a $7 or $8 million player. At most.
At most.
15, they really overpaid.
He's 31, injured, hasn't sniffed a Pro Bowl in years, hasn't been a difference maker in about 3 or 4 years. He $15 million to be the number 1 on a team that doesn't throw the ball anyway. This is the thing that I don't understand, right? Because people are like, if only Jackson had the weapons. Right? But there's been quarterbacks that elevate the players around them or get it done despite the players around them. Right? I just don't see him having that type of ability. Again, he's been injured the past 2 years in a row. Injury concerns are always an issue for mobile quarterbacks. We're all too familiar with that here in Philadelphia. Whether it's McNabb or Vic or Wentz, every time you get a quarterback that likes to scramble, we hear it now with Hurts. Injury concerns are a thing, and here we go. I mean, the past 2 years, he's missed substantial time, like what is it, 4, 5, 6 games each year, something like that.
Yeah, I believe it's something. He only has 10 games the last 2 years or something like that. Or
Yeah,
he's missed 10 games the last 2 years.
Yeah, according to Pro Football Reference, he's only played in 12 games,
12 games.
the past
Yep.
2 seasons.
So he's missed 10 games the last 2 seasons.
That's a substantial amount of time.
Yeah.
But I mean, even separate from that fact, he's never really put up flashy numbers. And you can say it's because of the lack of talent around him. But this is also a franchise historically that's won Super Bowls with Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco.
Hey, Joe Flacco, he's elite. Delaware elite.
Okay. I think that Lamar Jackson's riding that MVP that he won.
Well,
right?
so
And I think that that's like his only thing.
well, he did that 2 years too late because you should have had that tantrum after he won the MVP.
Yeah.
That's when you get paid.
Right.
Not now. Now you're
Because now you're sitting
possibly
on
tainted goods.
Yeah, you're sitting on multiple years of injuries.
This is why you should have an agent.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, this is really where it's coming back to bite him.
And that's really the big talking point here is because I think he's dug himself into a hole and now other teams they're like, "You know what? We're good."
Yeah.
Every other team either has a young quarterback project, they have an established starter, they have a high draft pick, or they recently made moves.
Except for the New England Patriots.
It's not happening, man.
It's probably not happening, but I'm giving it like a good 15% chance.
It would be very interesting to see.
It's
It
not,
would be very
not out of
interesting.
the realm of possibility.
Well, if Belichick does go that route, I don't think he's getting. Look, I'm just going based on numbers and what I've seen so far. He hasn't done anything to really impress me the past couple of seasons. And you can blame it on weapons, but other quarterbacks get it done with fewer weapons. I mean, the year that we crucified Wentz, he had, what was it, Greg Ward starting at wide receiver at one point.
Oh, my
and
God,
and he
yeah.
still dragged that team kicking and screaming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And recently, I have no love for Wentz. So
I don't think the league does either. He's still a free agent.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
there you go, Baltimore.
Yeah, you want Carson Wentz?
Another washed-up backup quarterback can lead you to the Super Bowl. They did it with Dilfer and Flacco. They can do it with Wentz. Get Wentz's ring. I don't know.
All right, so there you go. That is the NFL update.
Do you get more and more frustrated at Rodgers and Jackson the further these things get dragged on? I'm like so annoyed at these two.
Definitely on the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers, it's not even his fault. It's the teams. They got to come up
Yeah.
with just figure this out because the draft's coming up. In what 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks? Like
Yeah.
there is definitely a clock ticking. You guys
Running
need to
out
get
of
this
time.
done. Yeah. So that one is definitely more frustrating. Lamar Jackson is just I don't know what his end game is because he's not gonna get
$241 million.
$240 million and $1
And
guaranteed
and
contract.
$1.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't all have to be guaranteed, just more than Watson.
Right, that's what he said.
I want to see it's to give him 1 cent.
Yes,
1 cent
1 penny.
guaranteed more.
Yep, there you go. Technically, that's more.
Absurd. Anyway.
But, yeah. All right. Well, it was Easter weekend, and in a coincidental move, it was also Masters weekend for the golf world, and it was definitely an interesting one to follow. As Thursday, they were able to get a complete round one in. But Friday and Saturday, a very intense thunderstorm hung around the Georgia area, wreaking some havoc for Augusta. And Friday was a little life or death situation almost.
I guess in the golf world.
Yeah.
You mentioned a tree came down. or
3
something?
trees
Oh,
came
3
down.
trees. Oh.
Yeah.
What are they doing to the grass out there? They got weak roots.
Well, it
Got
was
weak grass, bad grass at Augusta.
It was a pretty. That's it. You're banished now. You'll never be invited to Augusta now.
Good. I don't need Augusta. I got my own golf course here.
Okay. Which one's that?
Putt golf.
Very good.
No, but 3 trees came down. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and they were pretty tall ones too. They were the ones that are in the stands, and luckily at the time they had blown the horn to start to get everyone to go back to the clubhouse.
Jeez.
And so I think everybody was on alert, so nobody got hurt. But if that had happened like 15 minutes
It's a
before,
bad look if the trees crush your fans.
yeah,
That's not.
what other sport will trees crush the audience?
Actually, you got a point there. Not many.
Yeah, so take that, all you people that say golf is boring.
At any point in time, a tree could come crashing through the stands and impale you with its branches.
yeah, take that.
That's metal right there.
Yeah, it's actually quite metal. Yeah.
So they survived the treepocalypse.
Yes. But Saturday was also a significant delay. So pretty much what happened was they had to delay the third round all the way to Sunday morning.
Oh, geez.
Try and
That's
cram.
the last day, right?
Yep. Try and cram the third round in Sunday morning, and then start the tee times off again at 1 and 2 p.m. for the fourth and final round. And I got to give it to Augusta. They actually did it. They were able to pull it off. It was a little bit dicey there, but they were able to fit in the 1.5 rounds they needed to do to finish the Masters on Sunday, on Easter Sunday.
It's a unique strategy. They couldn't have pushed it.
I
guess
they
they
could, but you lose significant money on sponsors,
Television deals,
Yeah.
and
it is not worth it to push it to Monday if you can't help it.
right.
You just it creates a major headache for all of the sponsorships and all that stuff for Augusta.
Well, doesn't it also have a negative impact on the golfers?
Well, you might be able to argue that because Brooks Koepka maintained a pretty steady lead all the way until Sunday, where he had to play a full 27 holes, a round and a half.
I feel like that's a lot of golf,
It
even
is.
for a professional.
Yep, and I think it just got to him because slowly but surely he began to lose. He had a 4-stroke lead, I think, going into that Sunday morning, and he just started to disappear on him. He had a couple, a bogey here, bogey there.
So
and
I'm a little unfamiliar with the tournament. Did all golfers face the same conditions? Did they all have to do 27 holes, or
well,
is it
him and
differ?
John Rahm had to. He was paired with John Rahm, so John
Oh,
Rahm
wow.
did face the same problems.
Okay, that kind of negates that argument then,
Right.
because to spoil things, the eventual winner also had to go through
Yes.
the same exact obstacle course.
Right.
Okay.
But all the players that were doing worse did have it easier because they got more of their holes in on Saturday before they called off the round.
Okay.
So, sort of. So the answer to your question is sort of, but not really, because John Rahm did pull it off.
Right.
He rightfully deserved to win this. He was in the same conditions where he had to play 27
Right.
holes as well.
Interesting. Okay. It's just a shame because I didn't watch, but did you notice as a fan any sort of dip in the quality of play? I mean, is that a concern? I mean, what's the talk? Is this the same thing as the Super Bowl turf, or
No, I
is
think
it
that's
not-
worse.
that was worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, unfortunately, at this level, when you're talking about getting paid millions of dollars and you're a professional and you're contending for major championships, you're expected to play whatever they
Yeah.
tell you that when if it's 8 holes on Saturday and 27 on Sunday, you got to do it. If it's 18 and 18, then you got to do it. You can't really do anything about the weather and what the
Right.
officials can call for safety issues and stuff like that. That's out of your control.
Right. So the decision to push it all into Sunday didn't have a bearing so much on the ultimate outcome, I guess is what you're saying.
I
did a little-
don't think so. Especially with John Rahm going through the same thing that Brooks Koepka had to go through. I don't think you can say that decision where he had to play 27 holes is the
Right.
reason why he lost.
It would have been interesting if somebody who had gotten all of their golf in on the other days had ended up winning. Then that
Yeah,
maybe,
then you
it
would
may
have an
been-
argument.
Yeah, that'd be an argument then.
Right. But no, John Rahm actually handled the same situation that Brooks Koepka had and pulled ahead and ended up winning on Sunday. He pulled ahead and he was just consistent as hell. He was just like the little train that could. He didn't have too much flashy moments. He was just
Right.
at a nice steady pace going through each round. And I think that helped him weathered the storm literally during this weekend. He wins $3,240,000 for the Masters victory.
That's a nice little cash pot there.
Yeah, he's only 28 years old.
Damn.
And he already had a U.S. Open victory under his belt. So guess what? He's actually now only 2 away. He only needs the PGA Championship and the British Open for a Grand Slam, and he's only 28.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this might be the young gun we're looking for to take over Tiger Woods.
Every year it's a new young gun, and they all just kind of fizzle out.
It's hard. It is.
Is
it's
this
hard.
the guy? Is this guy going to be the one to do it?
Yeah, well, he's on a good pace right now.
Well,
Very good pace.
One thing is that he won't have to compete against any Live Tour members with the PGA tournament.
That's true. No no
know.
Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka will not be at the PGA Championship.
I don't know if it's legit unless he plays the best of the best.
Well, sorry. PGA is not inviting the Live Tour members.
That's the kind of controversy I need in golf.
Well,
All
that's
right.
the next major is the PGA Championship. So sorry, Live.
The
golfers.
Live Tour should have the Live Championship,
Yeah, but it's not going to be a major.
but they could make it one.
They could claim it's one, but they're you know.
All you need
world-
is a schism in the golf world, the great golf schism.
I mean, look, I've said it before. You know,
I just want drama.
if Live Tour gets hot, or if they can find a person to pull off a win at the Masters, which they almost did this year, Brooks Koepka.
I was really hoping it would happen.
He was on a roll here until that Sunday. You know, then you might have, you know, some fuel to the fire on that. But speaking of the Tiger Woods, who's going to be the next Tiger Woods? Actual Tiger Woods on Sunday. He made the cut, so he is playing good golf. But unfortunately, a nagging foot injury caused him to withdraw from the Masters tournament on Sunday. So unfortunately, if you had any bets with Tiger Woods, they are null and void.
Like, he needs to retire, though, right? Like, he hasn't been relevant in, like, years.
No, he doesn't have to retire completely. I think what he's doing, and I think it's probably the best thing for him, is do the Jack Nicklaus thing where he's focusing on just the majors. I'm going to contend on the majors and see if I can add 1 or 2 more before my career ends.
But when's the last time he was relevant?
2019, he won the Masters.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh, whoops.
That was literally 2019.
Where was I?
You were doing the podcast with me.
Oh, man. Look, that was pre-pandemic. That was a different world, okay? Wait, did he really?
Yes, he
Oh,
won the
man.
Masters Championship in 2019.
I research these things before we go on the air. Absolutely.
It's all right. You're researching the Star Wars news coming up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Just ignore me.
right. How about this? When's the last time Phil Mickelson was relevant?
Bro, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you could say probably when he joined the Live Tour. But Phil Mickelson, at 52 years old, shot a 65 in the final round and rallied to second place in this tournament, tied Brooks Koepka.
For an old guy, that's pretty good.
That is nuts.
That's pretty good.
He made headlines winning the U.S. Was it? He won the PGA Championship or no? Was it he won? Now I forget which one. Now you put me on the spot. But he won one of the majors at 50, and we thought, oh my God, like that's like a feat, you know, that he was able to win a major at 50, and now
Rallied
at
to
the
second.
Masters he finished second at 52 years old.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's like the Tom Brady of golf. He refuses to go away.
Maybe he'll be the first Live Tour member to win something.
Yeah, right. Especially at this rate, he's playing decently well. If only he had kind of gotten off to a better start on this tournament. Yeah, he might have been the one to be the Live member to walk away with the green jacket. Would have been crazy.
I hope one of them does.
Well,
Eventually.
unfortunately, you're going to have to hold your breath longer, as the next major is the PGA Championship in May, which does not have any Live Tour members. But then after that, it's 2 opens. It's the U.S. Open in June and the British Open in July.
Lots of opportunities for Live to fully legitimize themselves. And
Also, that's also assuming they're allowed to play, because
well, now
we're
that the
gonna-
Masters allowed it,
we'll see. We'll see what the final decisions are from each of these golf governing bodies will be.
you don't think the others will follow suit?
They probably will, but you never know. Golf is a weird sport. You never know if there's going to be issues or, you know, we'll find out. We'll find out as we get closer to those two events. But unfortunately, definitely for the May major, the PGA Championship, no live golfers. They are not allowing that.
Just gives them more time to practice.
All right. And there you go. With that, we're going to wrap up the sports sampler actually a little bit early today. But I think if you've been following us on Twitter or anything like that, you know that we've got some major news in the world of TV and movies and stuff like that coming up with the entertainment entree. Look, it's going to be Succession and Star Wars.
The two S's.
The two S's that we need to get to in the entertainment entree in the next part of the show coming your way when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We'll be right back.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 a.m, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
yes,
I love it.
already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on? That was
I don't
weird.
know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh, my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to... Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart
and
once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine what medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder.
Oh.
I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Oh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We are rocking and rolling here on this week's episode. We wanted to condense the sports sampler. Actually, we made it a true sports sampler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a sports first entree.
That's right, because there is some significant news to get to in the world of TV and movies. So without further ado, let's launch into the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, entertainment entree has officially been activated, and we're going to kick it off with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new TV and new movies and new video games in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the people?
All right, well, this week in theaters, Renfield is a truly unique supernatural horror comedy hitting the theaters this week. I just saw the synopsis and I was like, this sounds really weird and really interesting. Dracula's assistant, Renfield, finds love in modern-day New Orleans and decides to stand up to Dracula in hopes of breaking free of his servitude.
Is it really in New Orleans?
Yes, it really is in New Orleans, yeah.
This is just Nicolas Cage's, fever dream, isn't it?
Yes, and it is starring Nicolas Cage, and that's what the other thing that drew me to this is. It is a star-studded cast. You have Nicholas Hoult from X-Men and The Menu and Mad Max Fury Road as the star Renfield, but it also features Awkwafina and Ben Schwartz playing supporting roles, and the one and only Nicolas Cage as Dracula himself. Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead came up with the story and is acting as a producer on the film, and it has a decent, if not mind-blowing 72% on Rotten Tomatoes with an average score of 6.6 out of 10, which for a horror comedy, an R-rated horror comedy, that kind of tracks.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, but I love the premise, though, of, the assistant to Dracula is like, I don't want to do it anymore, and, finds love in New Orleans, and just... It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but, I'm kind of there for it, you know?
New Orleans is, Nicolas Cage, second home. Yeah.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you liked it. You went there.
I did. I don't go during the summer. Too hot.
Oof. Yeah, no, that sounds bad. It's like
we got lucky going in April.
It's a literal swamp.
Yeah, we got lucky in April. We didn't get scorched.
Yeah. So stick to the spring months.
Yeah. Be careful.
You know where you definitely don't want to go in summer, though? In television, Florida Man comes to Netflix this week. I saw it and I was like, I got to talk about
They're actually making a show based on Florida Man.
There's actually a show based on Florida Man.
They just listened to our podcast. That's it.
They really did. Here's the premise. Mike Valentine is a struggling ex-cop forced to return to his home state of Florida to find a Philly mobster's runaway girlfriend. So it's got Florida and Philly in it somehow.
What?
Yeah. What should be a quick gig becomes a spiraling journey into buried family secrets and an increasingly futile attempt to do the right thing. So there you go. That's Florida Man coming to TV. I feel like I have to check it out, right?
I guess we have to, just by association.
Yeah, right? I mean, look, it's set in Florida. The main character is on the hunt of a mobster from... Are there mobsters in Philly?
There used to be. I don't know if they still are.
Philly mobster's runaway girlfriend? I saw this premise and I'm like, this is too weird.
Yeah, is this from the 80s or something?
Yeah. So, anyways, that's Florida Man on Netflix. But, of course, the big show this week is the return of Barry to HBO for its fourth and final season
Another
this
one
Sunday.
of my favorite shows.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, we've been talking about it for a couple years now on the podcast. It's about a hitman who decides he no longer wants to be a hitman and takes up acting classes and just kind of spirals from there. It's a dark comedy, really, really great stuff. Of course, I can't remember the main guy's name now. What's his name?
Bill Hader?
Bill Hader. Absolutely fantastic. The comedy, the drama, everything is spectacular.
Oh. Yep, there he is.
There you go. I think I think it might be one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah.
Second only to maybe another HBO show, which we're going to get to in just a second. But that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
Yep, that's right. And boy, what a 1-2 gut punch we're going to have coming up the next couple weeks between Barry on its last season and Succession that is right now in the middle of its fourth and final season as well. Which let's talk about some Succession, because the last episode was a doozy. It is making shockwaves all throughout the TV universe. It pretty much, if you've seen the episode, you need to talk about it. And I think we need to talk about it. This is just therapy at this point after this last episode. So without further ado, this is officially spoiler territory. So this is your official warning.
It's a spoiler! Ooh, it's a spoiler! Don't listen! Go away!
So there you go. We're officially going to talk spoilers for episode 3 of the 4th season of Succession. Is everyone that didn't watch the show gone?
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Ready? Oh my God. It finally happened.
It happened.
It happened.
So
The show is called Succession.
Yep.
Somebody needed to start the successioning.
The successioning, yeah, that's right. And it kicks off with something that I kind of semi-called last year after season 3. I said that Logan Roy, at some point in season 4, needs to be terminally hospitalized or dead.
Yeah, because you can't keep having the same temporary CEO,
right?
Or
you need
interim.
Something. So basically, what you need is kind of like a resetting of the narrative arc. You need a new inciting incident to throw all of these disparate factions against one another.
Shake them up.
Shake them up. And in episode 3,
they did it.
That's what we got.
Yep.
Logan Roy
is officially
dead.
Done. He's dead. Done. Dead as Dillinger.
D-E-D, dead.
Nice. Men in tights.
Yeah, and, you know...
So how about this? I want to start
yeah.
off with actually the episode itself.
Okay. Let's do that.
I watched that episode, and I could not... Like, now that I'm, like, remembering, like, what I was feeling watching that episode, I can't... Like, I literally thought this is a ploy. I was like, either this is a ploy or this is part of some scheme, or I was like, this isn't happening. This can't. This is only the 3rd episode of the season.
Right.
He's in the middle of all these, deals. He's
got all these wheels moving.
Right. He's selling the company. He's in the middle of a battle with his kids. Like, no, this isn't happening. This is not the way this is going to go down. And as the episode progresses, it's like a wave hits you, and another wave hits you, another wave hits you. And then you get to the end where they're at the airport and they're carrying out the body. And you're like, oh my God, it's over. The character that has been the constant headache on this show, the headache that you love to watch and you love to follow and you love to hear what he's going to say and how he's going to have another outburst. He's officially gone. It was very much like I was like Roman or something. It was like I didn't want to admit it. It was very surreal.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that the show actually threw me off guard. I joked about it, but the show is called Succession. He was going to die at some point.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he has to.
But I couldn't believe that for the timing of it and the way they did it on the show. Just wow! They threw me off. I was impressed at how surprising it was and how they kept it under wraps too. This didn't leak at all.
Yeah, I will say props to HBO and all the production crew and staff and everything. I mean, there was no hint about it whatsoever. So it was a nice surprise for fans. Whereas you felt like Roman, I guess I felt like the guys on the plane where, it happens and they're like, we got to draft a statement. In my mind, as soon as it happens, I'm like, I immediately went to, okay, this is the beginning of the end. This is the inciting incident that throws everybody back into conflict with each other. You know, I kind of use the metaphor of like a train, right? Where he set all these things in motion. He had just fired some people. He was in the middle of, you know, a buyout. The kids were in the middle of their own acquisition. All these things are set in motion. The train has left the station, and then he dies. You can't bring that train back. And so this is the event that is going to cause all of the fighting outside the group and all the, more importantly, fighting inside the group. So it's a perfectly placed death that needed to happen at the time that it did, when it did, because otherwise there's no, not that there's no conflict, but you needed something to bring it full circle back to the question, the dramatic question from the very first episode of the very first season. Who's going to take over the company? Because so far in the first 2 episodes, the 3 kids are kind of getting along, right? They're kind of unified against a common enemy.
For the most part, although Roman was
there was a little bit, he was a little bit of waffling, but
yeah.
mostly they had been on the same side more than they'd ever been
Yeah.
through 3 seasons. So what do you do then at that moment to, you know, create the fractures? You get rid of the common enemy.
Yeah.
And the only enemy then that's left is each other. So it was like perfectly placed at just the right time. And I also love the way that they did it. And this is the thing that impressed me so much, is that usually when you have a major death on a TV show, like, you're right there.
Yeah.
Right? You want to see the character die on screen. You want to be in that visceral moment. Instead, they get a phone call. And the whole thing is relayed to them and you as the audience from their POV through a phone call where they're like, what's happening? And they're like, I don't know. So you as the audience, you have no idea. And it just like turns the tension up to 11.
Yeah.
So like, as I'm watching this at first, like, I'm seeing them like mentally break down. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm starting like, I feel their panic and their sorrow. And I'm like, oh geez, this is really emotional. But then as it goes on and it lets you sit in that uncomfortable spot, which is really important to let those feelings linger and develop, to let that, you know, those flavors of the stew that you're making really come to the surface. You just are left uneasy and filled with tension and on the edge of your seat the entire time. It's a long sequence.
Yeah. A matter of fact, they mentioned that in the making of the episode that most of the major A-roll that you see during that scene where, you know, they're on the boat and they're just coordinating back and forth, like what's happening, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was like one long 20-minute take.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had 2 cameras, so that's how they were able to, you know, make it so there are edits and stuff. But in terms of the actors acting, it was just a solid 20-minute block, which is unheard of for, you know, a TV show or a movie.
Especially for like a prestige drama like this, where everything is very carefully crafted and constructed and blocked out. Like, to do one long sequence like that. And also, you know, that helped make it feel so real and visceral. Like, the way that they're acting, it almost didn't feel like they were acting. It felt like you were just like looking through the window at somebody having the worst day of their life.
Yeah. And for Roman, for Roman, it really is the worst day of his life. I didn't think about like I rewatched
the message that he left.
Yeah. I like rewatching bits of that episode again. You realize like he had the worst day ever. Like, between the fact he was told to fire Jerry, who he had the crush on,
right?
And, you know, had some interesting things with as well. You know, obviously being upset at his dad, leaving the angry voicemail, and then actually hearing his dad passed away. Like, he really had the worst day I think one could possibly have.
And I mean, God, I don't know if he's won anything for that role, but
he should.
Kieran Culkin.
He should.
I mean, oh my God, absolutely amazing. Like, I made this point during dinner, but I think Roman might be one of my favorite characters because his backstory is so sad, and he's such a troubled individual, but he so desperately wants to do well and to feel a connection with other people. And I feel like those are really great redeeming qualities in him. All the characters are reprehensible, awful human beings.
Yes.
Like they're not, like they barely deserve redemption, but they all have at least one redeeming quality that makes them kind of sad, tragic figures.
Yeah.
And Roman, I mean, this episode really highlights for me all of those redemptive qualities in those characters. And for Roman, I remember the scene where I think he walks into the one room and it's just Jerry sitting there.
Yeah, he goes back to that
and he goes
sub room.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm actually really sad. And she basically is like, oh, well, too bad.
Yeah, get over it. Yeah.
And walks out because she's still pissed that he just fired her.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's sitting there like he can't confide in anybody.
No.
Because his siblings always gang up on him. His dad used him as a pawn. Jerry, who was the only person he just fired, and she's pissed at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, Roman, like you suck as a human being, but I also still feel bad for you. You know? Like that's the amazing thing about this show and why I'll always sing its praises.
Yeah. Everything is just done with a subtle complexity, and everything is super gray.
Yeah.
There is no black and white on this show.
No.
And it works so well on, on so many levels. So, yeah, I mean, it's getting praise for everybody acting on this show. It's also been kind of a send-off for Brian Cox as Logan Roy, because this show does not have ghosts. This show does not have, at least so far, does not have callbacks.
Right.
So, unfortunately, this is pretty much it. They're unless there's something new, so unsuccession-like coming down the pike, this is it for Brian Cox. Yeah, right. Clip show coming up. Yeah, this is it for Brian Cox. So he's been getting all the praise. This is the end of his character, and everybody's been doing fine by him. Are you a little nervous that they've chosen to kill the main titan of the show this early in the season?
No, because, like I said, I think it happened at the perfect spot, because the thing about Logan that makes him such a good, oppressively evil antagonist, and he is the antagonist, is the fact that his presence is felt even when he's not there.
Yeah.
And I think the best example of that, there was a scene, I can't remember if it was season 2 or 3, where they get a box of donuts.
Oh, yeah, that's season
that
3.
Scene will always stick with me, because I remember seeing that scene and they're like, he didn't poison them, right? And they're all like, no, he wouldn't do that. And yet they proceed to not eat a single donut.
Roman says, I am 98% sure that they are not poisoned.
Right.
I love that calculus.
And... it's a small example, but there's lots of little examples throughout the series, and those that have watched it can probably think of at least one or two where the characters are doing something, but you can tell in the back of their mind the gears are turning and they're thinking of their dad. They're thinking of Logan.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to continue to be felt. And at some point over the coming episodes, you're going to hear one or two or all of them at some point say, well, Dad would have wanted it this way, or Dad wouldn't have done it that way, or Dad would have told you to F off. Like those lines, that feeling, that presence will still, I think, be felt, because they've already done a good job of that, and there's no reason for that to stop. So I'm totally fine with it.
Okay.
What about you? You seem like you might be a little concerned. Because I think you personally liked the screen time of Logan Roy.
I did. I really did.
Which was really a big selling factor of the show.
Yeah. I loved the Logan Roy character. I loved just the random outbursts he would have, the crazy, just like
his dialogue
one-liners.
was impeccable.
Yeah. Well, I can't even say the ones I want to say, because he curses in a lot of them. But just, he just always had just great quips, and Brian Cox is just such a great actor. I get, I totally understand why they chose to make the move and everything. It hurts that it's this early in the season. I wish they could have made it to the 4th or 5th episode with him. I think that would, at least, I'm not saying I'm not expecting the show to still maintain such a high level of quality. I'm still expecting that, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
I really hope this is a lot of this is a huge chunk. 7 episodes are left, and there's no Logan in them.
Yeah,
like I hope and there's nothing to indicate that it won't be as good, but that's a huge chunk. I hope the writing is still, ready to go with all the other characters, and they're all ready to, that they're able to carry on the show without Brian Cox. And I think they will, but there's a big gulp here. There's a big absence coming up.
There is going to be a big absence,
and it's we'll see in the upcoming weeks how they do with these episodes that will be Logan Roy-less. But
I'm actually really excited because you're right. There will be an absence, and that's kind of the thrust of it, right?
Yeah,
is like feeling that absence, and like I'm just so excited. We're seeing all these things in motion, and there's so many different plot lines now that are impacted by this.
Everything got impacted by this.
I mean, you're thinking back, hindsight's 2020, but
really, I was trying to go over like a list of things that got impacted by this. I was talking with my mom about this. Ironically, my mom's a huge Succession fan. She loves the show. Just thinking about the sale with Mattson.
Yep.
What's going to happen with the people that he wanted fired, Jerry and Sid.
Yep.
What's going to happen with the news station that he was going to plan on running. What's going to happen with the Pierce deal that the kids have made. What's going to happen with the fact that I think Ken's going to get arrested at some point. Now Ken doesn't have a shield.
Yeah. His father was protecting him after he killed that. Was it
waiter.
bellhop or waiter? Yeah. You have Connor's presidential run.
Yeah, Connor's president. He's running for president.
I mean, there's so many things. Like I said, and
they're all going to get impacted from this.
Right. The train left the station, and Logan Roy was the conductor, and then he just dies at in the engine room. So, hindsight is 2020, but it had to happen now because you can't pull the train back. If it had happened it has to happen before these deals are done, and so it makes sense that before the board meeting happens, because now they have that board meeting coming up to, renegotiate the price.
Now Mattson's going to want to negotiate the price.
Exactly. Because now the stock is tanking and it's just so many things going on. And it's going to be good.
It is amazing how one person can screw up an entire.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's almost 10 storylines we've got going right there.
Yeah. And that's the mark of a good prestige drama where it has all these. Also, Tom and the whole cover up with the cruise lines.
Yeah, that didn't get fully settled.
That didn't get fully resolved. And I still think we were joking about it at dinner, but there's more that Greg will be more involved somehow, some way. I feel because we were talking at dinner, but I said he's the real snake in all this because he sought the family out. Everybody else was just born into it.
Yeah.
But Greg, he was he wanted in on it and he gave up his inheritance and he's done stuff to kind of weasel his way forward. He's not a good snake, but
and now he doesn't have that inheritance. He's on his own.
Right. Yeah. Now maybe he sees an opportunity to, step up a rung or two or maybe take down Tom because he's got dirt on him. I don't know. There's just lots of different moving pieces.
Yeah.
Of course, the big question.
Yeah, who will
the line of succession?
Yeah, who will actually take over? I have no idea at this point.
I mean,
I honestly have no idea.
It can't be any of the kids,
right? I don't think it can be kids.
I feel like that'd be a cop out,
right?
If they're just oh, Shiv was the best at being the worst, and she gets it, or Kendall, or any of them.
No, it can't be the kids.
I think that's kind of the point of it is that they're all going to scramble to be king of the hill. And none of them are going to make it. That's why it's got to be somebody stupid like one of the, the Jerrys or the Franks or I don't know, Tom or Greg or somebody completely blindsided. It's going to be Greg.
Greg's going to do it.
It's got to be. Or Matheson or it's got to be somebody outside the family, I feel like.
Yeah. So we will find out the answer to all those questions in the next 7 episodes. To wrap up Succession, but like you said, the final action has now commenced.
Yeah,
this is now the end game.
Yeah, this was their D-Day. This is the beginning of the end.
Yep. So there you go, Succession officially moving on without Brian Cox as Logan Roy, and we'll see how the battle goes. We'll see who wins in the next 7 weeks for Succession. All right. Now we go to another S property, Star Wars. Star Wars had a lot of announcements at their annual Star Wars Celebration convention, and there's a lot there's a lot of announcements they made.
Yeah.
Some of it I'm excited for. Some of it I'm skeptical.
So
But what do you want to start with?
Yeah, let's just go through the list and talk about, each of these items. Just get some of the easy ones out of the way first. They further teased the Acolyte, which is something that I'm excited about. It's set 100 years before The Phantom Menace. And they also gave this little tidbit that it's like Frozen meets Kill Bill.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I don't know. I don't hate it. Frozen meets Kill Bill. I love Kill Bill. Frozen's pretty good. It's Star Wars.
It's the summary I saw said it's basically like a Jedi Padawan meets their former Jedi master, and
they have to
they develop a crime. They have to investigate a crime, and it's more developed than anything they thought.
Yeah, pretty vague stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty vague.
Standard stuff. Not much is known about it yet, other than the era that it's set in. And I'm fascinated about the stuff before the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, so this is one of the ones that's going to be before Episode 1.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what that, pre-Skywalker saga stuff is like. I really think it gives them an opportunity to really stretch their legs and explore different periods of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
But we have not seen that yet. Another live-action TV show that I think you mentioned, this is the one that you're super excited about. Ahsoka had its first trailer. Looks absolutely amazing. So exciting. And you pointed out that what's most exciting for fans is a reference to one of the previous expanded universe novels, correct?
Yeah. If you listen to the Ahsoka trailer that was shown during the Star Wars Celebration, they specifically mention that someone is being heralded as the heir to the Empire. Heir to the Empire is very specific.
Okay.
That refers to a book from the Thrawn trilogy that Timothy Zahn wrote back in the original extended universe when Lucas had control of the Star Wars universe. So I think that's a sign that they're willing to pull in some elements from the Timothy Zahn novels, as well as the Rebels version of Thrawn that it's clearly indicative of. But I think that's a great callback that they're willing to go into the pre-Disney expanded universe canon.
Yeah, that's really exciting because from what I've heard from several different Star Wars fans, you included, is that this particular trilogy of books, it's a trilogy or series.
The original Thrawn trilogy, yeah.
Yeah, is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it should have been episode 7, 8, 9.
And that's what what I've heard from a lot of people is that should have been the story. As we all know, all of that was officially retconned by Disney when they took over Star Wars and Lucasfilm. But it's nice to see an acknowledgement that maybe it's not all completely gone, that it's going to live on in some capacity, because if it really is as exciting and good as it is, I definitely want to be a part of that and check out, the theatrical, the television vision of it. The other thing that I'm really excited about with the Ahsoka TV show is just this idea that there were Jedi who survived Order 66. Obviously, we know that now.
Yeah.
There were several. Now, maybe it's just because I don't know the expanded universe, but it seems like a fair number of them survived in different ways.
Yeah, you can't get all of them.
You can't get all of them, yeah. So I'm excited to learn about these, fugitive Jedi who are out there, right? Like Ahsoka being one. The video game series Jedi Fallen Order, that is canon. There's another example. Grogu, obviously, from The Mandalorian, another one. So I'm always interested in expanding outside, separate from the Skywalker saga. I want to know what else is happening in the universe, which is why I love The Mandalorian, which is why I'm so excited about Ahsoka, because I want things that are separate from the main saga of the 9 movies.
Yep.
And this kind of follows in that vein. And also, it seems like these 2 announcements, and the next couple that we're going to talk about are kind of like an apology of sorts. No, I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Heir to the Empire, like, that is fan service. Acolyte, they're like doing stuff separate from the Skywalker saga. Ahsoka, she was a character that people loved from the animated show.
Yeah, Rebels.
Yeah, Rebels. So it's kind of like Disney and Star Wars being like, hey, you know, let's make amends for whatever happened in those last 3 movies.
That horrible J.J. Abrams movies.
I feel like all of the TV shows have been doing that so far.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Kenobi.
Yep.
They've all been kind of like, whoops, here you go, have Andor. You know, people are loving the TV shows. But the big question for Disney and Star Wars is, how do we get butts back in theater seats? Because it's been a while.
This is the part I'm not. I don't know. I'm mellow on this. I don't think this is until I see actual. I don't know, shooting happening or like a trailer. I'm not believing half of this stuff because, unfortunately, they don't have a good track record. They promised Rian Johnson a trilogy that never happened. They promised not Lord of the Rings,
Game of Thrones guys, David Benioff or something Weiss. Yeah,
they promised them a movie, didn't happen. But
the difference, I think, is the formal announcement of 3 directors, 3 new movies. The unique thing here is this is not a trilogy. This is 3 distinct, unique films by 3 different directors, each focusing on a completely different era of the Star Wars universe. It seems like, more than the previous plans that you referenced, there is more of an actual plan here, rather than like some guy's got a trilogy. Well, no, he doesn't. They very clearly laid out kind of like a roadmap, a timeline, and they're announcing things that are hard to pull back in if it does go south. So I want to start with the one that I'm most excited for. James Mangold taking over the quote-unquote Dawn of the Jedi era. So 25,000 years before the Skywalker saga. This movie is said to have a quote-unquote biblical epic type feel to it. I am so excited. This is what I've always said I wanted to see in the Star Wars unit from like our very first conversations back in high school about the expanded universe. You know that I've been fascinated with this era. What am I going to see here, Rich? I want to know.
Well, I mean,
what's the Dawn of the Jedi look like?
That's the best part, is that it's pretty much a blank slate. I mean, the only thing I can think of is like Knights of the Old Republic. That's the only thing that I can think of that has delved that far back from the Skywalker saga. So
I'm super excited. Like, I want to see.
There's a lot of blank canvas here.
I want to see like the first Jedi, the first Sith. I want to see the Gray Jedi. I want to see, you know, how the Force was discovered. Like, how did they learn that they could manipulate this mystical thing around them? Like, there's just so many stories to be told there. And I think finally they found the cojones to be like, you know what? We don't need Skywalker to tell a good Star Wars.
Can't keep relying on Skywalker. It's got to.
They've done 9 movies and all these TV series in that same like 60-year span.
Yeah.
There's tens of thousands of years.
It is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, but so far they've only covered like 4 decades of it. A long time ago, but you're only going to get a brief snippet of it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for not just this movie, but all the other stories that could come from it. Because you know that's the plan.
If it's successful.
I think it will be. Because there's nothing for fans to get pissed about.
That is true.
Because that's the major problem with the sequel trilogy. But we'll get to that in just a second. Because the next movie up, Dave Filoni, he is directing a film that ties up the threads from The Mandalorian and the other live-action shows. So we're looking at Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, all these shows that are kind of in the same time frame. Will this be the theatrical Thrawn conflict? Like, maybe the shows lead up to whatever this is.
Yeah, maybe this is, Thrawn leading the 7th Fleet, and this is officially it.
Is this the proper, like, SWCU? Like the MCU?
I guess that would be, like, the Marvel way of doing this storyline.
Well, you have Mandalorian and Boba Fett, which are super closely tied together. Ahsoka was introduced in Mandalorian.
Yep. So it would be the
This is-
culmination of those TV shows.
This is Star Wars Avengers.
Yeah, it would be that. Yeah, I guess you're right. It would be Star Wars Avengers. Yeah,
And Thanos is
Thrawn. There
even
you go.
has this almost the same letters in the name.
Yeah,
I
it's very
cracked the
similar.
code. Yeah. So I don't know. I think this one also has some stuff to be excited about. But of course, you can't escape Star Wars without some controversy.
Yep.
Which brings us to the last film. Charmin. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this name. Charmin Obaid Chinoy will
I
be.
think it's pretty good.
I tried. Will be directing a film post Rise of Skywalker, set about 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. Daisy Ridley was announced to be reprising her role as an older Rey Skywalker.
She's coming back.
Yep. Who is setting out to establish a new Jedi Order. Rich.
Yep.
Can they correct or forgive the sins of Rise of Skywalker with this movie?
No.
No. Oh, wow. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the show. That's
That's
the
it.
Crispy
Bye.
Little podcast for you tonight. No.
That's it. Bye.
Um,
No, I mean, I don't know. This is look. So objectively, this is the one I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work. But
this is the one that made you kind of sour on the whole announcement, I feel like.
yeah. But I mean, look, if it's an objectively good story and maybe they can maybe they can fix some of the problems that happened in Rise of Skywalker. Maybe this could be like the alternate episode 9 or something.
Is 15 years enough time? That's the number that I saw floating around.
I mean that would create a decent gap from
like just enough where like Rey becomes really like actually earns the proficiency in the Force.
Yeah, she'll be Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi. Then,
Yeah.
so that she'll be Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett, whichever one he appears in. Damn
Yeah,
it.
Book of Boba Fett. Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
They're all
Same difference.
They're
It's
all meshing together.
They're all meshing together. Now that's a point that you did make, is that there's too many properties, too much going on.
A little bit. It does seem like they're just throwing things on the wall and hoping a couple of these stick. So we'll see.
Okay. So overall, the announcements, you're kind of lukewarm on them for that reason. Do you think they're casting too large of a net?
The movies, I'm definitely lukewarm on because they've canceled a whole bunch of proposed movies and stuff. So I'm not getting excited about them until I see actual art or trailers or something. I'm just not.
It's hard to walk some of these announcements back, though.
Yeah, but
that's
you can.
the case.
You can.
I
You're
guess.
not at the point of no return with
Signing
these.
Daisy Ridley.
Oh, that's happened. There's always been people attached to projects and then either the project fails or backs out.
I don't know.
You're not at the point of no return with these announcements.
Wow.
Now if you hear they're filming locations, a trailer, artwork, all right, now you're in production phase. Then all right, then I can see the hype machine getting active.
Okay.
Ahsoka, though, I am excited about. I'm ready to go on Ahsoka.
That has an actual trailer, so that is happening.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water.
Yeah.
That is
and
coming
I
up.
want to see Lars Mikkelsen. He will be portraying the live action Thrawn, as he did the voice of Thrawn on Rebels. So
I feel like I got to watch that show now.
yeah, unfortunately, Rebels is going to become, I think, must need watching if you're going to really enjoy Thrawn. I feel like Rebels is now creeping up into need to watch.
Have you checked out Rebels or
yeah. It's they did a pretty good job with, and I'm not usually one for animation either.
Okay.
So
Well, definitely something on my radar now. But all these movies and TV shows are. I, for one, am excited about the future because I think that this is one giant apology for the sequel trilogy. And here's new eras, here's new characters, here's stories outside. They only have one property that's directly tied to the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the future.
Yep.
You never know what's going to happen.
All right, so there you go. The future of Succession and the future of Star Wars coming your way in the next couple of weeks and months. But for right now, we got to leave it there, and we got to officially go to our third and final portion of the show. Folks, it is time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been I'm talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda de bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo, odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we going?
Did you even have to ask that question, especially with Florida Man debuting on Netflix this
Shoulda
weekend?
known.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
That's right.
So
We got to have a good traditional Florida Man story.
Is this going to be the true story of the Florida Man TV show?
I don't know. This may be an anecdote that they take from it, but you got to have Florida Man for Florida Man debuting. It works out perfectly. All right, and this is a good old, just a nice little standby. This is the perfect type of story for Florida Man debuting on Netflix. Just it hits all the buttons here. That is because we've got a man here, 40-year-old Jason Roach. What a name.
What a name.
Yep.
Roach.
Jason Roach. This man, he already has a little bit of a stellar career here.
Oh, boy.
He was twice reported having, quote, masturbation incidents at an Arby's and at a Wawa.
We've got the meats.
Wait, and Wawa.
And Wawa. Oh, I mean, the sandwiches are pretty tasty, but not that good.
Oh, I guess you could say you had yourself a manwich. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. So
he's looking at those meats.
He loves his fast food. He loves his restaurant joints late at night.
He likes specifically the deli sandwich restaurant.
Yeah, that's right. They're both deli sandwich.
Wawa and Arby's. I've never been to an Arby's. There's one right near where I live.
Yeah, why don't you go
there?
Are
they good?
All right.
Oh, man, that was a glowing endorsement.
Yeah.
I just let know their commercial. We've got the meats.
Well, he's got
the meat.
Yeah, he definitely had some meats.
Let's get to bashing butts as well as these nuts.
There you go.
He's got all the meats.
He's got all the meats going on.
So that was just his previous.
Yeah, so this is the previous.
That's not even the current issue. Just previously, he's been caught masturbating in Wawa's.
No, these are masturbation incidents. I love that.
Masturbation incidents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Masturbation incidents.
It's an incident.
Yes. So those are his prior
assuming
incidences.
The current issue is also going to be a masturbation incident.
All right, well, we'll get to that. I just want to point out that those two things happened, and he walked free.
Of course.
They just were like, just please don't do it, and let him walk.
The donuts have enough glaze. Please don't,
Mike,
sir.
Come on, what are you doing?
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
All right. So This guy did it twice, free, both times. Just, hey, don't do it again.
But third time.
Yeah, third time.
Third strike and you're out, or third time's the charm?
Well,
Which one's it going to be?
Third time gets you on the non-fortune cookie odd news. So, yes, officers were dispatched on Sunday morning to a Speedway convenience store.
Another convenience store. He's got a thing. He likes fast service.
Yeah, he's very
He
fast.
likes it fast.
Yeah, just a quickie.
Just a quickie.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all he needs.
In and out.
Yeah, he should have done an in and out. I guess
this
I
is
don't know
good.
if I don't have it. I don't think they have in and out in Florida.
They don't, but they
No.
should.
Yeah, he should travel to the west.
Damn.
And go to In and Out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
So, all right. A 911 caller said that at the Speedway convenience store on Vero Beach, there was, quote, a naked white man screaming at a white female.
Oh, God.
Right in the parking lot.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Just out in the
naked.
parking lot, naked.
Yeah, just full-blown screaming naked.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's actual audio from the scene. Anyway, so the police arrived and immediately got him away from the female and placed him under arrest.
Okay.
When asked why he was touching himself and why he was naked at the Speedway,
Wait, was he touching himself while screaming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds aggressive.
By the way, this all happened at 6 a.m. on the Sunday morning.
Wow.
Yeah, he got
He
up.
has to get an early start, okay?
Yeah, he gets up early. He goes right to the convenience store and
Gets his cup of coffee.
yeah,
Takes off his clothes.
right. You gotta have a good start to the day.
Right.
That dictates the entire day.
Now, my thing is, I want to know, did he leave his home dressed? Or did he just get out of bed and he's just in his pajamas? That way it's easier,
Yeah, maybe
easier
that's
to
it.
strip
He's
down.
trying
yeah.
to save some time.
He's just trying to save some time, right.
I'm not gonna dress myself. That wastes time.
It's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, at this rate. Anyway, so the police asked why was he naked and touching himself at the Speedway at 6 a.m.
Right. That's a valid question.
Yep. Roach reportedly said that, quote, I have issues with my rectum, and in order to get rid of the pain, I must ejaculate right now.
What?
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
I
don't think that's a thing.
I don't think that's how that works. He
Yeah.
said he had pain in his rectum.
Yes.
So he had to ejaculate.
Right then and there. 6 a.m. in the parking lot.
He couldn't have done that at home? I guess he didn't have the pain in his rectum until he got to Speedway.
Yeah, you know those deli sandwiches at the Speedway, they don't help you
Those
out.
gas station deli sandwiches just goes straight through them.
Yeah, those don't help you there.
Look, some gas station food will cause some rectum pain.
Right.
That is true.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know if what he did is the cure for rectum pain.
Look, right now you have a track record of going to Arby's, Wawa, and Speedway for your dinners and your breakfasts.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
I feel like he's decreasing in quality. So it's like Wawa, then Arby's, then Speedway's like a glorified gas station.
Yeah.
It's like a 7-Eleven.
You shouldn't get food from a Speedway.
No. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
Not a serious food. No.
No. So
maybe you get a snack.
I'm
but that's
afraid
it.
where his fourth offense is going to occur.
Yeah, well.
He's already degraded to Speedway.
Unfortunately, the cops did not have any sympathy for his
rectum pain.
Yeah, for his rectum pain. I don't know.
How
what you want to
dare
call
they?
this.
That's mean.
He was arrested for exposure of sexual organs.
Yeah.
He's being held on a $50,000 bond.
Wow.
Because of the previous incidences.
Damn.
So
the first two were like, no biggie. You're free to go. This time it's like $50,000.
Yeah, we don't trust you now.
What is this like? What is this like scale? It goes from absolutely nothing to tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. We've had enough of you, all right?
We've had enough of you.
I think you've just hit that point with the cops where
they're just frustrated.
Yeah.
They're just pissed.
Look, we tried.
We tried.
We tried to let you off the hook.
We gave you the benefit of the doubt.
And we can't trust you.
Yeah.
And now you got pain in your rectum. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
What an excuse.
We're really going to give you pain in your rectum by sending you to prison.
Damn. It'll work out perfectly.
You could have an aneurysm on the toilet. You never know.
Yeah, you
never
boys.
know.
Yeah.
You could have an aneurysm on the toilet. You never know.
Oh, man. That's bad.
Yeah.
But I like it. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. This guy. Wawa, Arby's, Speedway, just publicly masturbating because of his rectum pain.
If he gets out, what's going to be the fourth stop? 7-Eleven?
It has to be 7-Eleven, I think.
Oh, God.
I don't know what else is down there in terms of quick convenience.
Yeah. Oh, no.
God, if you're doing that, I mean, like, look, you should be doing that anywhere. But if you're doing that at a 7-Eleven, that's pretty much that's rock bottom.
Yeah,
right?
you've hit rock bottom.
That's like as low as you can go.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything lower than
there's nothing good at 7-Eleven.
Jerking it in a 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Or getting food at a 7-Eleven either.
No, God, no. Oof. Like Wawa, it's like, okay, they got some tasty food. Maybe get a little excited. You're like, ooh, I'm going to get a...
Ooh! That's
like,
what happens?
That's what happens, yeah.
Oh.
Look,
Mike gets a chub every time you go to Wawa. Oh.
Hey, Hoagie Fest, man. It's just so exciting.
Oh, yeah,
it's
there
just
you
so
go.
exciting.
Wow, something we never thought we would have learned.
You know,
from Michael Costanzo.
The sides are just so tasty.
Yeah, there you go. Sausages! Gets excited for any sausage items there on the Wawa menu.
It's sad I haven't been to a Wawa in quite some time.
That sounds like a personal problem at this point. You need to go out and have some fun, Mike.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Yeah, you need to go.
Wawas are debaucherous places, okay? So.
Need to have some fun.
Yeah. But never at Arby's. And certainly not at Speedway.
That's the beginning of the down.
Yeah,
of the,
if you
the
find
roller
yourself
coaster
doing that
downfall.
in an Arby's, no. I know they said they have the meats, but that doesn't invite you to take yours out.
Yeah.
Not
the
good.
quality train has gone downhill.
But real question time. Should I try Arby's? It's completely separate from the fact
I mean,
I've
sure,
never
why
been to an
not?
Arby's.
Yeah.
I'm just so curious. Their sandwiches look so good on the commercials.
It's fast food, though.
That
It's never going to live up to the what you see on the ads.
That angry voice is telling me that they have the meats.
The angry voice is telling
The
me
angry
to get
voice
naked.
told me, yeah, right? That would have been a better excuse for him.
Yeah.
Not my rectum hurts, so I had to jerk it.
Yeah.
I don't think those two things, I don't think that works that way.
I don't think so either.
What does he mean by his rectum hurts?
That's where he had the pain, and relieving himself made it feel better.
Too much Hoagie Fest hoagies.
Yeah. that might be the source of the pain.
Yeah.
And the Arby's.
And the Arby's.
That'll do it.
Yep.
So, there you go, folks. That's what we have for you this week.
Sweet and simple.
Yep. Just a good standard naked Florida man story for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news.
Lascivious behavior, fast food. It's got everything.
Yeah, had everything he needed. So, with that, I think that's a very good way to have the conclusion of this show wrapped up in a nice little bow for you, because we are getting to the end of our program. It is time to wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in to another crazy episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But most importantly, make sure you find a way to get every episode sent to you Wednesday nights, whether that is through YouTube, where you just have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that button. That's all you got to do, and you'll get the latest episodes sent directly to your YouTube account. Whether it's on Facebook, we're on Facebook Watch, so you can literally watch us straight on Facebook, or on Spotify, where we have the video podcast, but also you can listen to us in the background as a audio-only podcast, and therefore you can take us on the go through Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you can listen to us on the go in your car as well. So plenty of ways to get the episodes and enjoy the episodes, whether it's at home or on the go.
That's right. But if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I'm at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on Twitter. Let us know what's happening. If you've got a topic you want us to cover on next week's episode, let us know. If it's odd news, send it to me so that Mikey doesn't see the story in advance, so he can react to it naturally.
That's right.
And give us reasons why he hasn't visited certain fast food establishments.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
I haven't been to a Wawa to get a hoagie in a while.
You need some help, Mike.
I do.
Is Wawa Hoagie Fest right for you? Ask a doctor today. But for right now, we got to wrap this one up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That will do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.